YZ125 frame is all done. Now it's time for some hydroblasting, cerakoting, anodizing and zinc plating. Hey, what's up guys, Rado here, and this is first time I'm going to do all four things: hydroblasting, cerakoting, anodizing and zinc plating. So I'm going to take it super far this time, and I'm gonna spend a lot of hours, a lot of man hours on prepping all these parts to get everything done. So if you guys working on similar project, then you will know what it takes, you know how many hours. I'll try to summarize it at the end. And don't forget guys, if you are working on similar project, if you want to buy some parts or you need new gear or something like that, you can get it from your local dealer. If you go on PureMoto.com and search your local dealer inventory, you can see what they have in stock, you can see it online, and then you can drive down to your store and pick it up. So these are the parts we decided to get hydroblasted for sure. Everything needs to be nice and clean. Look at all the build up grease and dirt and all kinds of stuff, discoloration, all of that. And I will be power washing everything, cleaning it a little bit. In case you're wondering what I'm using this heavy duty oven and grill degreaser. This thing works really well. I just spray it, let it sit for like 5-10 minutes, and then power wash, and the major grease and dust goes away. So then the guy who's doing the hydroblasting for you doesn't need to clean all that nasty stuff. When you're hitting your engine with pressure washer, make sure that you plug all the holes, the carburetor, and you know, you have a spark plug in and all that. So you don't want to be filling engine with the water when you're cleaning it. And as I said, you don't have to go too crazy with this pressure washing. You just want to make sure that you clean all the big build-up, grease, dust, and all those kind of things before you hit hydroblasting and before you clean everything beautifully. Alright guys, so this is how clean we got it with some oven cleaner. Let it sit for like 10 minutes, hit it with the pressure washer. I didn't scrub anything. I didn't use you know, a lot of elbow grease here. All I did to spray that thing, let it sit, and then hit it with a pressure washer, and this is sufficient. Now I can take it over to some hydroblasting shop. I'm gonna use a cerametal finishing this time. But if you guys are using hydroblasters, please don't take super dirty parts to them. Yes, they are cleaning your parts, but you can still get all the nasty stuff off first, and then they can go ahead and they can clean all this discoloration and other things. So after we are done hydroblasting, this thing will look like brand new, maybe even a little bit better. And then for the engine and for the triple clamps and for some other parts here, brakes and so on, I'm thinking to hit it with some Cerakote. I'm not decided yet what kind of color. Before we actually do hydroblasting, we need to get rid of all the imperfections on the parts that we want to have looking brand new. For example, this chain block was looking pretty bad, so I had to grind it a lot to get rid of all the scratches, all the deep stuff. So once I hydroblast and cerakote this piece, it will look like new. The swing arm doesn't look too bad, but does have little imperfections here, some deeper scratches, so we'll try to take those out using this wheel right here. We'll look everywhere and see what else we can do, take out, so then once we hydroblast everything, we will have it much smoother. We are at Cerametal Finishing, Chris Puffer's shop, and this time it's actually first time where I'm actually doing all the work hydroblasting myself. And let me tell you, I had a blast hydroblasting. It's just like so much fun, because it doesn't take much and these things are super clean and they look amazing. It's looking pretty good. I think a little bit better than brand new, huh? Right. It's so much fun to do this hydroblasting. I love it. Man, Chris is so much fun. Amazing. How beautiful that thing is. And we're gonna clean this one right here as well. So it's really nasty, all the buildup and everything on it. So I keep everything together. I didn't take anything apart, just took out the brake pads, and I'm gonna blast everything like that, and then later we're gonna rebuild. so we don't get all the media, you know, blasted inside in a brake. But look how nasty that thing is. Now look at the other one. It's a huge difference, man. Some of the parts had a little coat on them that was really hard to remove with hydroblasting, so we had to dry blast or a bead blast. It is exactly the same media as hydroblasting, but it's not using any water, and it removes all this coating on the aluminum parts, and then we hit it with hydroblasting and make everything look pretty much better than new. Now look at all these parts once they are clean. It's just beautiful. You hit it with the water after you are done, and guys, I just can't get enough of it. Thinking how it looked before I came here, and right now, look at that. It's beautiful. Alright, here we go. Cerakoting finishing, and Chris Puffer did this beautiful Cerakote for us. Chris, what is it called, this color here?
This is tungsten.
Tungsten, okay, cool. So what exactly did you do with that? What's the process there?
First thing we do is we clean it, soak it in acetone, make sure there's no oils or impurities in the metal, and then you bead blast it and make it rough and give it an edge surface for the Cerakote to stick to. Then it goes in the oven for an hour, which we call gas out. So if there's any oil soaked into the pores, it comes to the surface. As long as it comes out clean, I let it cool off, and then I mix up a batch of Cerakote and we spray it down.
Cool, right on. All right, my friends, so if you need to get your stuff Cerakoted or hydroblasted, hit up Chris here. He's a 20 years Marine. So I just love the guy. So if you guys need anything, hit him up. This is a swing arm, and it's looking kind of rough. We got it sandblasted at San Diego powder coating. When they were doing our frame, they sandblasted all this, and as you can tell, it doesn't look very shiny, but everything is stripped, everything is removed. There was some coating on it, and same on the subframe right here. So right now I'm gonna go to Cerakoting finishing. We're gonna try to hydroblast, see how smooth we can get it with the hydroblasting. It's gonna take some time. You know, it's taking a lot of hours to do these parts. The older bike, when you want to fix it up and make it look brand new. So we got another maybe half an hour, maybe a little bit more in the hydroblasting cabinet, and trying to hit every single detail. And honestly, this thing already looks pretty good. Just hit it with a Scotch-Brite maybe, and it should be good to go. Look at that. So everything is done. We have this final product here, hydroblasting and Cerakoting. Tom Morgan Racing did our cylinder and head mods. And I think everything turned out really good. Now the color we choose, it's a tungsten. I love the color, but I don't like the name. I never know how to pronounce it. Tungsten, something like that. If I put everything together with all the prep work for the blasting, pressure washing, and the hydroblasting itself, I spent around 20 hours doing all that. Plus the Cerakoting, that was something that Chris Puffer did at Cerakoting finishing, and he spent another hours doing that. So there is another like 10-15 hours work right there. As usual, Racetech and Corona help us with our suspension work, and I think it turned out amazing. This is deep black anodizing for the forks and also for the shock. Plus we did powder coating on the spring, same color as our frame, so everything will be nicely matching. Now one important detail is that you know, the black anodizing looks amazing, but it also makes everything a little bit stronger. Like I had some issue with the shock, and the black anodizing actually fixed that problem. And you know, Racetech did everything. They rebuilt completely the forks, and also we had some internal damage, so we had to buy few parts for the fork to work the way it's supposed to. So right now I'm expecting quite a bit from this 2001 suspension that has been rebuilt by Racetech and is ready to go. Now zinc plating is not something I was able to do at home. Some people have it set up to do it, but I asked Charles from MX Revival, my friend, a fellow YouTuber, to help me do this zinc plating. He is really good doing these things. He is doing pretty much like a magical work with these bolts. And I wanted to help him a little bit, so I did some of the prep work. I spent several hours on the grinder, on this bench grinder with the wheels from Prime MX, and I was cleaning all the rust. But even after I was done, even after all my hours of hard work, when I shipped it to Charles, he had to spend several hours stripping it all the way down to perfection, and only after that was done, he was able to zinc plate everything, and the bolts are looking amazing. Plus, they will never rust again. So after everything is done, when I count the hours, I spend around 30 hours prepping everything, hydroblasting and you know, grinding and doing all the kind of work. That's my 30 hours. And then I use companies to do suspension, to do cerakoting, and to do zinc plating. So they spend another quite a few hours to do all their work. So if you look at everything, it will take you a couple of weeks if you do every day a few hours to accomplish all this work. Alright my friends, so that's about it for today's video. It was a lot of hours, a lot of manpower. It took maybe like 2 months to do everything, all this work that you saw on the video today. And looks like we're ready to start assembling the bike finally. So in the next videos, you guys will see me putting things back together, and I think it will look amazing once we have those colors, you know, coming together, the contrast between the black, red, and then the anodizing color, hydroblasting and all that. So really pumped for this YZ125 build. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know below in the comments, and don't forget, whatever you do, stay motivated. See you guys later.